It's the fact that he did not pull a prank. He's notorious for pranks. He'll write pranks out for years, and there was much pranking going on.
Underneath all the glitz and glamour of the red carpet and expensive vacations, Brad Pitt has just delivered a bombshell regarding George Clooney's divorce. Even with Clooney's charisma, the foundation was already shaky. In the shadows, there was an unsaid reality, competing aspirations and growing tensions. Pitt, however, is finally revealing the truth about what went wrong, and the news is shocking. Pay attention, because when you hear what he said, things will become clear. Love tales in Hollywood are seldom simple narratives. Rather, they are sophisticated productions, carefully arranged to please the viewers. Every perfectly staged interview, every stroll through Venice with a loved one, and every red carpet grin contributes to the image of perfection. This ideal was personified by the marriage of George Clooney and Amal Alamuddin, which was the epitome of grace and refinement. The illusion, however, vanished the moment word of their divorce spread. The connection was the subject of tabloid analysis, and fan speculation was at an all-time high. Next, an unexpected turn of events occurred. Brad Pitt, a major player in Hollywood, chose to reveal some secrets from behind the scenes. Not the customary rumblings about scheduling conflicts or insurmountable differences. That was his bombshell. No, Pitt dropped hints about something far more sensational, something that may cast doubt on the veracity of Clooney and his apparently idyllic marriage. According to Pitt, the Hollywood A-listers may have been concealing a considerably less glamorous side of themselves if his charges are accurate. Was their romance really a carefully staged facade, or were they really the world's most revered power couple? We need to go back to the beginning before we can comprehend Pitt's shocking disclosure. The reality behind this failing marriage is going to rock Hollywood to its foundation. The Globe was enthralled the moment Amal Alamuddin and George Clooney made their first public appearance together in 2013. A charming human rights lawyer whose elegance and intelligence appeared equally at home on the red carpet and in courtrooms had captured the heart of the silver-haired Hollywood bachelor, who had a reputation for being reluctant to settle down. Hollywood glitz and the seriousness of international law came together in their love story, making it seem like a contemporary fairy tale. Their relationship had already become famous by the time they tied the knot in September 2014. Hollywood at its finest, Amal wowed in Oscar de la Renta and George, ever the main guy, beaming beside her at the event in Venice. The elegant $4.6 million party was attended by 100 exclusive guests at several opulent locations. Together, they were a formidable force. Amal took on high-profile legal challenges, while George ruled Hollywood with successes like Gravity. It was impossible to ignore their steadfast backing and flawless combination of celebrity and status, whether in court or on stage. Every one of their public appearances was flawless. They exuded classic Hollywood glamour at the Met Gala, exuded knowledge and composure at human rights conventions, and managed to strike an interview balance between flirty affection and mutual regard. George frequently made light of the fact that he married up, while Amal quietly acknowledged their connection. Their undeniable chemistry caused relationship aspirational talk to rage on social media, and even specialists in body language agreed that their connection felt real and established. However, there was more than glitz and glitter to their marriage. It was a union of purpose. Collaboratively, they established the Clooney Foundation for Justice, which distributed millions of dollars to support human rights initiatives worldwide. Amal spoke for Yazidi survivors of ISIS crimes, and George utilized his fame to draw attention to disasters like Darfur. As they held fundraisers at their estate on Lake Como, mingling celebrity-studded parties with serious campaigning, their charitable endeavors drew parallels between Hollywood and humanitarian efforts. Their combined efforts, which ranged from funding racial justice programs in the United States to aiding victims of the Lebanese Civil War, demonstrated their dedication to creating a positive impact. However, little fissures were starting to appear behind the meticulously crafted facade of flawlessness. The birth of their twins, Ella and Alexander, in June 2017, altered the course of their lives irrevocably. They were incredibly well off, but that didn't make them immune to the common difficulties of becoming a parent for the first time. Even joking about being an old parent, George, at 56 years old, readily confessed that fatherhood was overwhelming. Both had a lot of work to do during the time they were getting ready to become parents. George had to be on the road all the time for his Hollywood engagements, while Amal was in the thick of crucial court fights. At first, it appeared like they had no trouble juggling work and family responsibilities. They lived in different mansions and adjusted their schedules to fit each other's jobs. Their access to private planes proved crucial in sustaining their extravagant lifestyles even as they traversed continents. George talked highly of Amal's intelligence in interviews while she spoke highly of his constant encouragement, creating a balanced picture. The juggling act, however, was taxing. Their multi-million-dollar mansions on Lake Como, in the English countryside in Manhattan and Los Angeles, became emblems of their fortune while also serving as reminders of the complexities of their life. Stability was difficult to attain due to the continual motion. As Amal's and George's respective absences from major Hollywood events caused eyebrows to rise, the fairy tale started to fray. As a result of work commitments and scheduling conflicts, their once regular date evenings in Italy became more infrequent. Their once effortless connection now requires more effort to sustain. As purposive followers noted the shift, more formal conversations replaced lighthearted closeness and public appearances. Here comes Brad Pitt, a Hollywood confidant and longtime friend of George's. The media couldn't get enough of their blossoming friendship, which began during the Ocean's 11 era. Pitt, meanwhile, became an unexpected commenter when reports of Clooney's marital problems emerged. Pitt gave an intimate glimpse at the stresses that power couples in Hollywood endure after enduring his own public divorce. Pitt claims that the complete story was never revealed in the glossy magazine covers. George's world revolved around film sets and award circuits, whereas Amal's world revolved around foreign diplomacy and courtrooms. George enjoyed being with people, while Amal was more comfortable with routine and predictability. Their marriage became a long-distance relationship due to the extended times apart, which is a situation that is difficult for even the most resilient couples to manage. The media's incessant investigation was another factor. The photographers recorded every moment of tiredness, every red carpet posture, and every appearance that was missed, so everything became rumor. Pitt wasn't shy about saying that the true struggle came from Hollywood. Maintaining an authentic relationship while being constantly judged is extremely challenging in today's image-obsessed society. Notoriety amplifies imperfections, escalating minor disagreements into major crises. Clooney and Alamuddin's partnership suffered due to the strain to be flawless while balancing parenthood, goals, and the demands of the show. In contrast to George's struggles with spontaneity and parenting, Amal yearned for steadiness. Even the most famous couples have to put in a lot of work and provide a lot of sacrifices when they get married. Still, Clooney's decency in dealing with the aftermath was the one thing Brad Pitt loved about him. George stayed silent in an unusual interview, even though rumors of their split were spreading. He spoke highly of his time with Amal and their dedication to co-parenting, saying that they were an example of poised elegance in the face of adversity, in sharp contrast to the dramatic splits that Hollywood is so famous for. Their narrative ultimately served as a stark reminder: no relationship, no matter how ideal, has real-life challenges. Although they were elevated by society, George and Amal were only human beings attempting to balance familial obligations, romantic relationships, and professional aspirations under the relentless scrutiny of celebrity. George Clooney is not as well known as Brad Pitt. Shared movie sets, inside jokes, and late-night chats about life outside of Hollywood have established their bond, which spans over 2 decades. Brad is one of George's closest confidants since their friendship has endured the scrutiny of stardom. However, as time went on, Brad noticed a change in his friend, a change that the cameras couldn't pick up on. On the set of Ocean's 11 in 2001, they became friends, and their easygoing banter and mischievous antics became legendary in Hollywood. Off-screen, they conversed about love, ambition, and the difficulty of balancing one's own happiness with the pressures of celebrity, in addition to sharing a grasp of the industry. George went from being the most eligible bachelor in the world to becoming an amazing husband and parent, and Brad was there to see it all. George and Amal Alamuddin's marriage for a long time appeared like a Hollywood dream. The beautiful Hollywood star and the clever attorney leading a lavish life in Los Angeles, London, and Lake Como. Amal was a human rights lawyer with extensive experience. Subtle shifts, meanwhile, were becoming apparent to Brad beneath the meticulously maintained public persona. Brad saw a shift from the couple's natural connection to something more formal in their chats during small parties at George's Italian home. Instead of really enjoying each other's presence, the fun teasing that used to define their relationship now seemed scripted. It was easy for Brad to brush it off as a married couple's inevitable development, but as time went on, the warning flags grew more apparent. It was over a weekend at Brad's French chateau that the first genuine worry began. And little element that spoke a great deal was the fact that George and Amal did not come together. Like two faraway stars in separate orbits, they circled one another. The warmth remained, but an unsaid something muted it. After seeing his own marriage to Angelina Jolie slowly fall apart, Brad saw a trend. Brad remarked that it wasn't immediately apparent, but that it was easy to see in hindsight, how their objectives began to drive them in opposite directions, and how they began to make separate plans. While George stayed in Los Angeles for longer periods of time, Amal took on additional cases around Europe. They were no longer perfectly in tune as they had been in their younger years. While caring for his buddy, Brad was also aware of the demands that come with fame and fortune. Tragically, he was too familiar with the way the world expected an act, transforming intimate moments into a show for the masses. Meal after meal became a news story, and every choice was scrutinized. "It alters your character," Brad said. "Your connection will be altered." The rumblings about marital strife weren't only about their hectic schedules or the pressures of celebrity. Something or someone had captured George's interest, and Brad witnessed it unfolding before his eyes. It wasn't only him who observed George's change in attitude, everyone else did as well. The way his attention slipped suggested something more profound, something out of the ordinary. For George Clooney's marital future, who was this enigmatic figure who had piqued his interest? Do not go just yet. You will be astounded by this disclosure. Hollywood friendships are as permanent as a disaster at the box office, a fleeting phenomenon that comes and goes just like that. As soon as the cameras stop filming, the red carpet grins, extravagant acceptance speeches, and pledges of eternal devotion usually disappear. When priorities diverge and time constraints become an issue, a best buddy who was there one year becomes a distant memory the following. However, George Clooney and Julia Roberts have managed to overcome all obstacles. Outlasting transient alliances and short-lived co-star combinations, their relationship has persisted through the ever-shifting tides of Hollywood for more than 20 years. Although the majority of on-screen friendships die the second the director says cut, theirs has just intensified. In the year 2000, it all began on the set of the very talented picture Ocean's 11. Clooney and Roberts hit it off immediately, naturally as platonic friends, despite the fact that you'd expect two megastars like them to keep their distance and circle one another like cautious rivals. Always one with a biting quip, Clooney once remarked that the two had an unbreakable bond as friends, which blossomed into a decades-long working relationship. Their unique brand of clever banter, half charm, half cynical eye roll, has been a staple of their productions since Ocean's 12 through Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Money Monster, and Ticket to Paradise. Skeptics say it's just two A-listers making a quick buck off of a simple formula, while others say it's unmistakable chemistry. No matter how you slice it, their chemistry was contagious, and their film projects became an outgrowth of their real-life friendship. I am fully certain of that. I get it too. That's why we're friends. But it's not just their on-screen antics that keep their bond strong. It's also their constant practical jokes, inside jokes, and true friendship off-screen. Roberts, Hollywood's self-proclaimed prank king, was no match for Clooney, who has never shied away from a good on-set prank fight. Their naughty actions have frequently put their co-stars and staff members in harm's way. Is it an indication of genuine camaraderie, or just a means to kill time on set? It continues to generate headlines in any case. For years, Clooney maintained his image as a perpetual bachelor. However, in 2014, he startled fans by shocking everyone by marrying human rights lawyer Amal Alamuddin. Contrary to his prior carefree, globe-trotting lifestyle, he became a father to twins in 2017. Roberts, meantime, has rode the famous roller coaster herself, sustaining both her professional highs and lows. Because hey, not every picture can be Pretty Woman. Clooney was always there to support her, whether it was praising her abilities, her sense of humor, or whatever remark would make for a nice headline. In exchange, Roberts has often referred to him as her favorite co-star, solidifying their status as Hollywood's most adored romantic pair. I believe you should locate that individual. However, not even the most solid connections can withstand Hollywood's favorite genre, drama. Roberts' name quickly became entangled in the rumors that circulated about Clooney's marital troubles. Has she spoken up about the alleged problems in her marriage? What if it was simply another instance of the rumor mill in Hollywood making up a story? Or was she trapped in the crossfire of gossip? Whatever the case may be, one thing is certain. The entertainment world will never stop seeking scandal, and Clooney and Roberts' friendship is no exception. The rarity of their friendship in an industry characterized by intense rivalry makes it all the more extraordinary. Since performers in Hollywood are usually competing for the same parts, accolades, and prestige, the industry has a reputation for being a hostile environment where fans support for one another. Truthfully, Julia and her family are considered part of their family. However, Clooney and Roberts have mostly stayed away from this pitfall. Their careers are very apart from one another. Roberts has maintained her status as America's darling, while Clooney has become Hollywood's dashing leading man. Their friendship has undoubtedly endured despite the changes in their positions. The absence of direct competition has prevented the enmity and animosity that plague many long-term Hollywood partnerships. Their friendship has nonetheless been subject to some criticism from the general public. Unfair comparisons about how they balance their personal and professional lives have often been drawn between Clooney's shift into family life and Roberts' more private approach to motherhood. This narrative is exhausting and outdated, and it pits men and women against each other based on unrealistic expectations. However, unlike most Hollywood friendships, Clooney and Roberts have avoided most of the problems that arise during their journey. Their dynamic is based on more than simply reminiscence. It's a perfectly functional advertising apparatus. They market every film in which they star together as an extension of their legendary off-screen relationship. The narrative isn't the only thing drawing audiences to the movies. They're also investing in the enduring love story of George and Julia, the unlikely heroes who have managed to stay resilient among Hollywood's mayhem. George is so cool. Their connection is more than simply friendship. It's a brand. And in a field like this, when reputation is everything, that's probably the main reason why they've been together for more than 20 years. To what extent, though, has their friendship developed into a carefully managed Hollywood brand? Or is it a true bond? Stay tuned, because the answer can throw your world into disarray. With her brilliant grin, Julia Roberts has been one of Hollywood's most admired stars and America's darling for a long time. But underneath her seemingly effortless charisma is a lady who has learnt to thrive for decades at a time when longevity is so unusual in her field. George Clooney, another A-lister whose relationship with Julia has endured the ebb and flow of Hollywood over the years, has stood by her side in more ways than one. Their 2001 friendship, which began on the set of Ocean's 11, is deeper than the usual superficial celebrity partnership based on red carpet appearances and scripted interviews. Their charming banter in interviews, humorous digs at each other, and shared capacity to laugh at the foolishness of celebrity have made Clooney and Roberts one of Hollywood's most beloved pairings. Their connection goes well beyond the realm of cinema. Their bond has only gotten stronger over the years, unlike many others in the profession. Smyrna, Georgia-born Julia, was merely a girl growing up in a family where stories were often told before she became the type of actress who could command $20 million per picture. She was born in 1967 to Betty Lou and Walter Roberts, who were also actors. Her parents founded the Atlanta Actors and Writers Workshop, a place where talented people could come together to develop their craft. Therefore, Julia's ambitions to become a Hollywood star were not unexpected. Following a stunning 1987 television debut in Crime Story and a 1988 feature named Satisfaction, Julia eventually got her breakthrough moment with Pretty Woman in 1990, and her path to celebrity was immediate. She shot to fame after starring in the film, which reimagined the classic Cinderella tale with a beautiful escort and a rich businessman. Her charisma and enthusiasm were contagious, and viewers couldn't get enough of her, even if the part wasn't very revolutionary. Julia Roberts had become a cultural phenomenon, not only an actor. In the following 10 years, she firmly established herself as the leading lady of romantic comedies with critically acclaimed films, including Notting Hill, 1999, and My Best Friend's Wedding, 1997. Erin Brockovich, released in 2000, demonstrated, however, that she was more than a rom-com sweetheart. She was an acting force deserving of Academy Awards. She gained new recognition in Hollywood and an Oscar for the role. George Clooney and she crossed paths about this time. After making the leap from emergency room celebrity to full-fledged movie star by 2001, Clooney had already become a household name. Their first film together, Ocean's 11, was a watershed moment in their careers, but it was also the beginning of a legendary relationship in Hollywood. Memories of how quickly they became buddies flooded their minds. In 2004, they were back again for Ocean's 12. The following years, they proceeded to wow audiences with Money Monster 2016 and Ticket to Paradise 2022, both of which relied more on their charismatic chemistry than on the narrative. Because of their shared knowledge of the game, their relationship has flourished. Clooney and Roberts have discovered a way to remain rooted in a culture that is always trying to tear people apart, despite Hollywood being packed with relationships that come and go. By making jokes about their popularity at award events, interviewing each other, and pulling off infamous pranks, they have become legendary in Hollywood mythology. But there's more to their friendship than meets the eye. They respect one another. They know what it's like to be at the top of their field. And they have the unusual capacity to keep their sense of normalcy in the face of this bizarre environment. When it comes to his connections with other people, Julia is one of the few individuals with whom Clooney feels comfortable enough to disclose the ups and downs of his life. People like to speculate about George's romantic life for a long time. Before Amal Alamuddin was involved, there were already concessions, conflicts, secrecy, and discussions. Even after tying the knot, the scrutiny continued. He had been known as Hollywood's most dedicated bachelor. Julia was very polite and would never intentionally inflame a situation, but that didn't stop others from interpreting her every move. No matter how innocuous her remark, such as, "I'm just super attached to those 4 people," was, it became tabloid fodder. Julia, on the other hand, has kept a low profile in her private life. They've had 3 kids between them. She and cameraman Daniel Moder were married in 2002. She has succeeded, in contrast to many of her Hollywood contemporaries, in keeping her personal life under wraps. Her focus has obviously moved from celebrity to family, although she still works on projects like Leave the World Behind and narrates Lisa Marie Presley's biography. People are still talking about Clooney's ties, even though her personal life is stable. In a field where bonds between people are sometimes broken, their uncommon and lasting friendship has endured. While keeping things genuine, they've gone through career highs and lows. Recently, though, a slight tension has surfaced. While some think George's changing life has changed their friendship, others talk behind George's back about an unstated change in the dynamic. Something has changed, but neither Julia nor George have mentioned anything. After Brad Pitt's confession, what are your thoughts on the matter? Is George and Julia's budding romance only an attempt to maintain their popularity, or have they actually discovered something new? Please share your opinions below and hit the like and subscribe buttons.